Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's lovely to have you along for the ride. I'm sorry the Eagles are along for the ride right now. There was a question being asked in the locker room, which this is exactly why I thought week one had the most pressure on it that a week one could possibly have. It's because the minute the Eagles lose, turn the ball over, bad play calls, bad coaching decisions, whatever the case. And I'm separating those two things, by the way, because Nick Sirianni has the decisions, Kellen Moore has the play calls. So that was one giant cluster, of Eagles football on Monday night. The minute all that goes wrong is the minute people start looking immediately back to last year, going, oh, this is carryover from last year. Reed Blankenship, I don't think I've ever talked more about Reed Blankenship in the last 2 days for off-the-field stuff. Somebody brought it up in the chat, him mentioning that Jalen Hurts addressed the locker room and Nick Sirianni didn't. Reed Blankenship was asked about the meeting yesterday. He was asked about whether or not this is the carryover from last year that is the Eagles still need to shake off, which appears at this point to be impossible. But he was asked about it yesterday, and Brandon Graham was asked about it yesterday. A lot of guys on the team were asked about it yesterday, and everyone's very convinced that it's not 2023 anymore. It's definitely 2024. You know who's not convinced? Me. I don't think a lot of you are convinced that it's not 2023 anymore either, because we have seen the same problems. I mean, Jalen Hurts in week one turned the football over twice via interception. Could have very well done it 3 times. Was charged for 3 turnovers because he wasn't on the same page as the center, Cam Jurgens. He made a terrible. It has gotten to the point where it's annoying to me that more people are talking about the neutered Nick Sirianni. People who wanted him fired, people who didn't want to have any power. He's now as close to that as possible, by the way. And not enough people are talking about Saquon dropping the ball, and not enough people are talking about a horrible decision made at the end of the game when the Eagles still had a chance to win it with Jalen Hurts throwing that interception. That wasn't you got to take a shot. That wasn't like, there was 1 second left on the clock, and he's got to just put it downfield and hope for the best. No, there was time left with timeouts, plural, and he threw the ball away. Good for him, and we'll let you hear from him about taking accountability. I hold myself accountable for it. Good, because then you're not denying reality. Good for you. And Nick Sirianni yesterday addressing the media, I realize what a lot of us do is for fun. This is fun. This is supposed to be fun. Sports is supposed to be fun. And it beats the hell out of Doug digging ditches, and I have dug literally my fair share of ditches in my time. I do mean that literally with a shovel. And actual dirt. This isn't a metaphor. But every once in a while, I look at the people that got to go to those press conferences every single time and sit through 20 minutes of that. I go, oh, my God. I feel bad for you. Because what Nick Sirianni was doing yesterday could have saved everyone some time. He could have just went up there and said, I'm convinced in what I did. I'm confident in what I did, and I'd do it again. Instead, when somebody is so blatantly wrong, and they really talk themselves in circles and talk you in circles, unfortunately, trying to justify it, it's like they're trying to come to the realization, no, I'm right. This is why I'm right. Don't you see why I'm right? No, seriously, you should see why I'm right. I'm going to keep talking about it until you understand that I am right and everyone else is wrong. And that's what I get from Nick Sirianni. And I got nothing for you. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm not going to play a damn thing from him yesterday. The only thing that matters from yesterday is that he would do it again. He referenced other teams that have run similar plays in similar instances. And it's like, those guys had success. I know we can have success. And ultimately, what's not being talked about is Nick Sirianni did say something yesterday that we've all said. I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody ever that has ever said to me, not in my sports talk radio days with callers calling in, not in the comment section, where somebody's like, hey, you know what we need? More analytics. No one has ever said that. We need more analytics. And you know what Nick Sirianni did say yesterday? That was like, oh, okay, that's actually a good thing, right? Because it's what a lot of people talk about. I know it's what me, Seth Joyner, and Derek Gunn talked about on the post-game show about how there should be less room for analytics. And Nick Sirianni said, I'm going to go on what I believe, how I believe in my players in that moment. Analytics is a piece. It's not the whole thing. I went, that's actually somewhat refreshing. Do I need to play that cut? No, because when he talks about it, it's like 5 minutes of just that, where I could just sum it up for you right there and be more direct about it. But here's what I ultimately took away from Nick Sirianni's 20-minute press conference yesterday. Not fit to lead. That's where I'm at. And I was exactly at that point last year. As far as him not addressing the locker room, here's what I'll say. Good. He saw Jalen Hurts, hit all the talking points, and went, all right, let us pray. Okay, that's it. Do you want him? Let me ask this question. Do you want Nick Sirianni to address the locker room after that? No? Good. Neither do I. But here's what I do want. I want a head coach that is going to address the locker room after a loss like that. That's what I want. Just like I'd want a head coach that is also a play caller, just like I'd want a head coach that is also, a game planner, just like I'd want a head coach that, I don't know, knows how to bail the water out of the boat when it's sinking. Because Nick Sirianni apparently doesn't know how to do that. And we have continued to see, and this is my problem, we have continued to see the dwindling responsibility of Nick Sirianni. Hey, you know what? It could be a credit to him that the emotional intelligence part actually was speaking out in the back of his head going, Jalen just did everything for you. Don't say a damn thing. Maybe that's what Nick Sirianni is. Maybe that was emotionally intelligent. Jalen's got it. Yep, that's everything I wanted to say anyway, so it's better that it's coming from him. And also, here's the positive side of things. I want my quarterback to feel like he could say something. I want my quarterback, who one of the knocks on him at the end of last year was that, oh, he's unapproachable. Oh, he doesn't speak up enough. Well, he spoke up. And apparently he said enough and said enough good things and hit on the right talking points that no one else was like, yeah, okay, and I got something to say. Whether it was Nick Sirianni, whether it was Saquon Barkley, whether it was an injured A.J. Brown, whether it was Brandon Graham or Lane Johnson, nobody else felt like they needed to step up and say anything. So that's the positive side of it. The negative side of it is you have a coach that had nothing to offer, apparently, in that moment, whether it was before or after Jalen spoke. I would love to really talk myself into some optimism for this weekend, for Sunday against the Saints. But that's a really tough thing to do right now with the Eagles going on the road with no run defense and Alvin Kamara just waiting. Oh, man. If you have Alvin Kamara on your fantasy team, how excited are you for 1 o'clock on Sunday? How excited are you right now? What's that like? What's that feeling like? Because I don't know. Listen to Nick, listen to the guys in the locker room yesterday. The guys in the locker room, I do give them credit. We'll let you hear from Reed Blankenship. They're doing a great job of convincing themselves that everything's just fine and dandy, and they're just going to pull through it. It's just a loss. It's just a loss. It's not last year. It's just a loss. I feel like it's last year, and that ain't a good feeling. I wouldn't feel that way if Saquon caught the ball. For the record, just to say that one last time, I wouldn't feel like that if Saquon caught the ball. So that's fun. I'd still feel pretty terrible about the run defense. Hey, but guess what? That's not all when it comes to the Eagles' problems. Because Jalen Carter, who is part of that defensive line that we're having a big issue with, Jalen Carter was late to a team meeting, I believe it was, and did not start for the Eagles. He was punished. It was punitive. Not great. Not great. Would that have happened if Fletcher Cox was still here? I wonder. I don't know. That's not a good sign. You have your star receiver, A.J. Brown, hurt, and then you have a supposedly star first-round pick from a year ago who's supposed to be a huge impact player getting punished in week 2. This does not feel great. We'll get into Jalen Hurts addressing the team. We'll get into Jalen Hurts talking about his last interception, which, again, was not nothing. That mattered. And we'll also get into him talking about how he's going to get over the loss. We may have our first main thing is the main thing quote of the new season. Not old season, not 2023, the new season, 2024. Get into that conversation today. Also, the Philadelphia Phillies, good God, man. While you were sleeping, I think they struck out 16 more times. This was insane. Yesterday, such similarities to Game 2. So Game 3 was yesterday. Game 2 was Tuesday night. Tuesday and Wednesday, their starting pitcher goes 7 innings, allows 1 run. Tuesday and Wednesday, games 2 and 3. They get a second inning home run to go up 1-0. They surrender that, and it gets tied up at 1-1. Both games, they struck out 16 times. Both games, they struck out 16 times. The difference was in Game 2, Tuesday night, Bryce Harper hit a 2-run home run to put the Phillies in front for good. Last night, you did not get that second home run. You did not get that second offensive output. You got nothing after that. And unlike Tuesday night, Wednesday night, you completely wasted a gem of a start from your starting pitcher. Yesterday, I said, I need the night to be the Aaron Nola 7-inning game. Give me the 7 innings from Aaron Nola where I feel damn good about Aaron Nola again. Give me those 7 innings. He pitched better than Zach Wheeler pitched. Pitched better. Fewer pitches, more strikeouts. He only walked 1. And I think 3 hits to 4 hits. So that was the difference. Better on Aaron Nola's part of that. And considering he had a lot more ground to make up for from his last 2 starts, it felt really good to see him go out there and strike out 9 Brewers. And the only mistake he made, you know exactly who he made it to, and that was Rhys Hoskins. And here's what drove me crazy about Rhys Hoskins' home run. I'm watching that game, and there's 6 pitches into it, and I could just tell. Aaron Nola had not thrown the knuckle curve yet. And I could just tell. I'm watching this at bat, and I'm going, Rhys Hoskins is sitting there going, just throw me the knuckle curve. Throw me the knuckle curve. Throw me the knuckle curve. It becomes a 2-2 count, I think it was. Yeah. 2-2 count, 7 pitch of the at-bat. Aaron Nola for the previous 6 pitches. I'm not throwing the knuckle curve. I'm not throwing the knuckle curve. I'm not throwing you the knuckle curve, Rhys. I know exactly what you do to knuckle curve balls, and I'm not going to throw it to you. 7th pitch of the at-bat, he finally gives in. He throws the knuckle curve on a 2-2 count, hangs it up just a little bit. But like I said, Rhys Hoskins was waiting on that pitch. He went down and got it 385 feet to left center field. Tie ball game, 5th inning. And it was the leadoff batter. Rhys Hoskins was the leadoff batter in that inning. It was the 5th inning. It's a middle inning. I was very pleasantly surprised that Aaron Nola got through the 4th inning unscathed. He started off the 5th inning with a solo home run. That's where I started to think, here go the wheels. The wheels are going off. That's not what happened. He got Frelick to line out to left. Then he got Ortiz to ground out to third. And then Terang to fly out to left field. 1, 2, 3 after that. All right, you're still tied at 1. All right, offensive firepower. Let's get going. Top of the 6th inning, Phillies get runners on 1st and 2nd with nobody out. After an 11-pitch at bat by Bryce Harper that featured 7 foul balls. So he battled, okay? Castellanos then struck out on a slider low and away. I believe that was his first of 2 strikeouts on just 3 pitches. Not a great day for Nick Castellanos. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Alec Boehm then flew out to center field, deep enough for Turner and Harper to tag. So now you got 2 outs with a runner on 2nd and 3rd. They go to the bullpen. They bring in Koenig. He strikes out, or he gets Bryson Stott to ground out to second base. And that was the end of that threat. 1st and 2nd, nobody out, 2-0. That was pretty much the best opportunity the Phillies had in the game. And I was waiting for that other home run, and it never came. Orion Kirkering came in and was great. Phillies got shut down by Devin Williams in the top of the 9th inning. 3 strikeouts, all via the curveball. And then Carlos Estevez came in the 9th inning to keep the score tied. And that's not how it happened. The Braves already won yesterday. The Phillies, with a win, would secure a playoff spot. I don't think anyone's doubtful that the Phillies are going to make the playoffs. The Phillies are going to make the playoffs. So that, to me, doesn't really matter much. What matters to me is being the best team in the National League going into the postseason. That's what matters to me. Obviously, winning your division is going to do that too. But what matters to me above anything is staying ahead of the Dodgers. Carlos Estevez goes into the ninth inning, allows a leadoff triple. Not a great start in a 1-1 ball game. Allows leadoff triple, intentionally walks Contreras, gets Mitchell to strike out on 3 fastballs. Good job. Then Adames goes up there. He gets down in the count. I believe it was 0-2. And then high fastball, high fastball, high fastball, high fastball. Tries to get him to chase it. He doesn't. He lays off. Good job by him. Count goes full. Fouled off a couple. He walks him. All right, fine. Now I got the double play ball in order there. Bases are loaded, though, at this point. 1 out. Bowers goes up there, ropes the RBI single into right field for the walk-off RBI single. Rob Thompson, after the game, after the hit, rather, walks onto the field and he's talking to the umpires. I'm like, did somebody miss a base? Did somebody miss a base? Did somebody miss a base? Somebody did miss a base, second base, but it didn't matter because the run had already scored. I think that's the way that worked. Yeah, if there were 2 outs in the inning, then it would have mattered. But there was only 1. That's a shame. But that's what he was trying to confirm after the game. Bottom line is Phillies dropped 2 of 3 to the Brewers, a team they swept earlier in the season. And now they head to New York for a 7:15 start time against the New York Mets. Luis Severino is going to go for the Mets tonight, folks. And the Phillies have a guy starting. His name is Taijuan Walker. Speaking of trying to drum up optimism, like I was for the Eagles, and maybe by Sunday I'll feel good. I don't know. Well, I do know. Probably not. The Phillies having Taijuan Walker go, you just, if you need it, here it is. 3 scoreless innings against the Mets the last time he was out on the mound. Last time Taijuan Walker was out, he threw 3 scoreless innings. All right, that's all I got for you. That's I wish there was something better I could tell you, but there's not. That's as optimistic as it gets. That's as optimistic as it gets when it comes to Taijuan Walker pitching. Hey, 3 scoreless. Hey, 3 scoreless innings. Okay. Dodgers won last night, by the way. Your standings look as such. Oh, wait. No, that's not right. Oh, Farzetta, you moron. They're 1 game up on the Dodgers. Sorry. They're 1 game up on the Dodgers. All right. Before I get to the Eagles, let me just get this out. Thank you. All right. Now let's get to the Eagles. Oh, also, make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Subscribe to Jacob Media YouTube channel. Subscribe to Locked On Phillies Postcast. Hit the notifications on that as well. And make sure you subscribe to the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel as well. Hit the notification button on that as well. So you have all your pre- and post-game Eagles coverage needs covered with myself, Seth Joyner, and Derek. Okay, here we go. I believe this is our first keep the main thing. Jalen Hurts. Let's hear the back and forth. I think this is Ruben Frank, NBC Sports Philadelphia with Jalen.
What's the biggest challenge of getting a game like that and the way it finished, getting it past you and moving on?
Moving on.
How do you do that, though, and how does the team do that?
Keep the main thing.
Bam! All right. Everyone, let's keep the main thing. So speaking of keeping the main thing, after the game, the main thing was not kept the main thing, and everyone looked around and went, we didn't keep the main thing, but we should probably keep the main thing. And in this game, we didn't keep it the main thing, so we got to keep it the main thing again. All right, Jalen Hurts, after the game, addresses the team. What prompted that moment for a guy that usually leads by example and not with words?
I didn't make a decision on it. It just kind of happened.
Is that why your horse, were you because you're speaking loud, or?
I was battling something all week, and so I actually lost my voice the day of the game, that morning, yesterday, the day before, and then the day of the game, I lost my voice, and ended up being able to get it back a little bit, enough to scream and obviously operate the game. So still kind of trying to get over that sickness.
Yeah, sounds like he's still a little hoarse. When he did take to the podium after the game, I was like, can we just let him wrap it up? And then at the end of his press conference, at the end of the game, at the link on Monday night, he was just like, by the way, I apologize for my voice. Yeah, dude, like, take the night, take the rest of the night off, please. But no, it wasn't from screaming. But I don't think that this could be understated. This is a guy that last year was under criticism. At the end of the year, stories came out. Jalen Hurts needs to be more vocal. He can't just let a guy like A.J. Brown have that moment. And maybe A.J. being hurt because, real quick, one of the things that has always blown my mind is that you could be the greatest player ever, and you could miss one game, right? You could be the greatest player ever, greatest leader ever, but you miss one game, nobody wants to hear from you. In the locker room, I'm talking about. Players don't want to hear from you. Now, every locker room could be different, but I'll never forget. I think I've definitely told this story before, but real quick. Brian Dawkins missed a game one year because I think it was the stinger he had towards the end of his career in Philly. And he was yelling at somebody on the sideline. It was in Minnesota, and he was yelling at somebody on the sideline about a previous play. And I was told by another Eagle starter at the time, I was like, dude, if you're not playing, no one wants to hear from you. And I'm like, how dare you? That's Brian Dawkins. You know, I'm not a member of the Eagles. The player doesn't care what I think. But I had a good enough relationship with them where they're like, oh, yeah, if you're not playing, shut up. Basically, I'm like, but it's Brian Dawkins. Like, you ain't playing. You don't, just stop talking. So A.J. Brown, maybe subscribing to that philosophy on Monday night, goes, I'm not going to say anything. I didn't play in this game. So Jalen maybe looks at it and goes, I have this opportunity here where I'm not going to defer to anybody because the guy I'd normally defer to isn't going to talk, so I'm going to talk. And it wasn't about Brandon Graham. It wasn't about Lane Johnson. It wasn't about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or Darius Slay. It was about Jalen Hurts giving a message to the team that they need to be better, essentially. They need to keep the main thing the main thing. That's a big step from the guy that walked off the field last year. And if you want to try to convince me that this isn't the 2023 Eagles, great. That's a good start, at least. And Jalen having more of a say, being more vocal, that's nice. That's good. Now let's just get rid of the turnovers and win more football games. That'd be great, too. That would really convince me. That'd probably be the only thing that could truly seal the deal on convincing me or anyone else. But it shouldn't go without some praise that a guy that's normally a quiet leader chose that moment in week 2. This isn't like week 8 of struggles. This is week 2, their first loss of the season. He told everyone, keep the main thing, stay focused, and let's come out better next week against the Saints, or really on Sunday against the Saints on short rest. So love that he actually did that. Now, the last thing that I'm going to play for you when it comes to Jalen Hurts is what went down with that last play. Because the overall frustration, and I don't know why this is. I go opposite of a lot of people. A lot of people love to talk about the coaches, and a lot of times it's justified. Sometimes it's not. This particular game, the coaching decisions were worse for me than the play calling decisions. Saquon Barkley dropping the ball. Saquon Barkley dropped the ball. That's on Saquon Barkley. All the coach should say about that is, well, we know that play that we called because there was 9 guys in the box, and we wanted to make sure we got a first down. He dropped the ball. We had him open. We called a play that had him open. We called a play that worked. He dropped the ball. It happens. Saquon's a great player. He knows that he dropped the ball, literally and metaphorically, for the rest of the game. We do it again. That was kind of the message, other than the Saquon stuff of the press conference yesterday from Nick Sirianni. But I didn't have a problem with it. Made a good play call. He dropped it. The bigger issue I had was not kicking the field goal in the first quarter on your second possession. Another issue I had earlier in the game was the quarterback draw in the 3rd and 9 on your first possession. What the hell was that? Anyway, that's the other thing. So Saquon dropping the ball, people being mad at coaches, me usually being more mad at players. And my theory yesterday, and it's been one I've had for a while, is like nobody puts a poster of the coach on their wall as a kid. So that we have it in us to default to praise, I guess, as opposed to anything else. As opposed to criticizing the player. I think people have a bigger tendency to coddle the player and yell at the coach or coordinator in this instance. So yesterday, I was talking a lot about Jalen Hurts' opportunities that he had on that final play, and he made the worst decision possible. And this is what is really incredible to me. In the Packers game, the 2 interceptions were the worst decisions. I guess you could argue that his first interception against the Packers, he could have taken a safety. So that would have been good, or that would have been really bad. But also turning the football over in the red zone, allowing the Packers, technically it wasn't in the red zone, the turnover. It happened around the 35-yard line, I think it was. Yeah. But he threw it down the middle of the field where there was like 4 Green Bay Packers just like chomping at the bit to get that football. Last interception he had in that game in the red zone, he turned it over, throwing it in the middle of the end zone. After watching it, I know it became a debate last week about whether or not, and somebody asked me about it in the chat, whether or not A.J. Brown slips, is that an interception? Yes. I don't think that was a good enough thrown ball, and A.J. wasn't going to high point it from his break with 2 defensive backs around him. That wasn't going to happen. I think Jair Alexander was going to get that football regardless of A.J. Brown slipping. You can make the argument maybe he throws it away. But still, throwing that ball in that situation, in that coverage, was a terrible decision. You just need a field goal. At the end of that Green Bay Packers game, just get a field goal. Live to fight another day. All good, baby. He didn't do that. Worst decision he could have made. That's what he did. At the end of the game against the Falcons, to go through this one more time before he lets you hear, just set up what I'm going to play for you here about Jalen Hurts, at least taking accountability. So they get the football back with 2 timeouts, 34 seconds left. First play, they hit Dallas Goedert for 13 yards. All right, so you get down to 27 seconds. They call timeout right there. Jalen Hurts then, with 27 seconds left, 1 timeout in their back pocket still, he throws the deep ball to Devontae Smith. The better options there were Saquon Barkley in the flat. You could, once the pressure, if he's there and that throw is not deep for Devontae Smith, and I truly believe, and Seth Joyner and I agreed on this, so did Gunner at the end of the game during the post-game show, that he just locked in on Devontae Smith, and he wanted to throw the ball to Devontae Smith. Locked in. Didn't see Britton Covey cutting across the middle about 5 yards in from where Devontae Smith was. And if he hits the better option, one better option, hit Britton Covey, probably the best option, hit Britton Covey going across there, bang, he goes out of bounds, you preserve the timeout. And at this point, you're at the 43-yard line. So if you hit Britton Covey, you're on that. I think you flip the field and you go on their 43-yard line. I think that's how deep he was on the field. Maybe even deeper. So you might already be in field goal range for Jake Elliott. He doesn't do that. Also, he has Saquon Barkley in the flat. You could either spike it at the feet if the pressure is already there, or you can put it in his belly. Maybe it makes the guy miss, or you burn the timeout right there, and you still have about 25 seconds left, 22 seconds left. Instead, he makes the worst decision of the 4, and he throws it deep to Devontae Smith, and he gets intercepted. Was there pressure in his face? Yes, but handle that better. And he'd been doing a better job through week 1 in this game of handling that pressure. So that drove me banana sandwich watching that play unfold. So for me, I don't have a lot of confidence in Nick Sirianni. I don't like the decision in the first quarter, second possession to not just take the points. And I don't like that Saquon Barkley dropped the ball. I do like that the Eagles were just trying to put the game away. I don't fault him for that. My focus is Saquon dropping that ball. Can't happen again. And my focus on Jalen Hurts cleaning up these turnovers thanks to terrible decisions. Like, these aren't like, oh, I can see why he'd do that. No, I can't see why he'd do that. When there's 3 better options waiting for him, and he chooses door number 4, which is just a pile of crap behind it. No, thank you. At least he takes the accountability. Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, I'm a huge fan of, and I just really want to see, because I know he's better than this. Like, I know there's a better version of Jalen Hurts than these moments in the game where he just makes dumbass decisions. Here he is, at least taking full responsibility for it.
I did.
There we go. This one's a nice one.
Yeah, honestly, trying to give a guy a shot to make a play. Would have liked to in that situation of the game. I think just looking back on it, manage the time we had, the opportunity we had. Maybe didn't have to be as aggressive there, but we're trying to take a shot down the field in that area, and didn't connect. And I own that in those moments because I know those are the moments you get excited about. To make something happen, and I came up short.
Not as aggressive there. I know it's the end of the game, but he's right. You didn't have to be overly aggressive there. And it certainly was. Even a little bit less on that throw. And seeing Britton Covey cutting across the field. I know he had the pressure in his face, so it's definitely understandable that maybe he didn't see Britton Covey. He just knew Devontae Smith was out there. It's frustrating, especially in a moment like that where okay, hold on a second. They score. The Falcons score. There's 34 seconds left on the clock. Eagles have an opportunity here to get in field goal range with 2 timeouts. And you can win this game. And unfortunately, that's not the way it went down. One more issue I had, and this is still insane to me. In a game where you don't have A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert's barely involved. I don't understand how that happens. I don't know if he's just progression number 3 or 4 all the time for Jalen Hurts or what the deal is. But that can't happen. Dallas Goedert is a Pro Bowl talent. He's not a Pro Bowler. He's got Pro Bowl talent. He's a Pro Bowl caliber player. His biggest detriment has been injuries. If he's on the football field healthy, look for him, especially in a game where you don't have A.J. Brown. And this is nothing against Britton Covey, but oh my goodness gracious. How did Britton Covey get more targets than A.J. Brown and Jahan Dotson in a game? How did he have more tackles than Bryce Huff in a game? And how in the red zone especially is Britton Covey getting more looks than, of all people, Dallas Goedert, your tight end? When I saw the Eagles get down in the red zone, maybe the 7-yard line, to maybe 2 or 3 different occasions in this game, they're looking for Britton Covey? And it was wide receiver screens? What are we doing? It's not 2023, people. It's 2024. Don't expect the same problems as 2024. Here we are looking at the same problems as 2024. Turnovers and the wide receiver screen. At least, you know what? Target Dallas Goedert and give me that tight end screen. Then you'd have to have Britton Covey block, unfortunately, I guess. No, you can have Johnny Wilson do that. Rather frustrating. And now they face the Saints with a defense. It's one of those things where here's what I see happening to me. Maybe it happens to you by Sunday. I talk myself into being optimistic, where it's like everyone's being so negative about how terrible the Eagles' run defense is. And then it's like, okay, maybe they overcorrected. And now they're going to be great. Yeah. Or they overcorrect it and they just throw the ball to Alvin Kamara. And he's just like, all right, thought I was going to run it. Suckers. 4th touchdown for Alvin Kamara. 2 on the ground, 2 in the air. We're all having fun, aren't we? We're having a blast. Surefire loss, Sandy. We'll break it down tomorrow for a Friday show, obviously. But surefire loss? Surefire loss? Yeah, probably surefire loss. Not feeling great. I broke down the Phillies. I don't think I need to go into it anymore. All you need to know is Taijuan Walker is pitching today, and I don't feel great about it. Maybe we'll be so negative that we'll walk ourselves into optimism. No? Okay, cool. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. After this 4-game series against those Mets fellas, the Phillies are coming home for their final homestand of the season. Well, not even a homestand. It's just a home series. That'll be against the Chicago Cubs. And if you want to go to the game, Game Time app has you covered. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Create an account. Use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Maybe the Eagles Game Time app has it covered as well. Use promo code Farzy for $20 off your first purchase. Also, don't forget about Game Time Picks on the Game Time app. You know what that is? That allows you to filter out the fluff, so you cut right down to brass tacks. You can see the best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app when you toggle that feature, Game Time Picks. You can also toggle the all-in pricing feature, which allows you to see right out of the gate exactly what you're paying before you check out. So there's no wildly inconvenient convenience fee that just pops up at the end. How do these $30 tickets become $40? I don't know, but if you toggle that feature, the all-in pricing, you know exactly what you're paying before you check out. You can also see your seat before you buy it, so you know exactly what you're buying, and you take the guesswork out of buying tickets. You do that with the Game Time app. And how about this? They got the last-minute ticket deals, the flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. So let's say you're using the Game Time app to go to a concert or a comedy show. You don't want to see the opening act. You don't really care about the middle, but you want to see that headliner that you love so much. You can see them at a great discounted rate with those ticket deals for an hour after the event starts on the Game Time app. So once again, download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code FARZI, and get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. What time is it? Game time. I didn't hit this one for you. I'm going to hit this one before I get into our chat check. Britton Covey. Reed Blankenship's at his locker yesterday, and they're asking him about concern. I watched the locker room session with Brandon Graham. I didn't hear the question asked. Otherwise, I'd play that for you as well. But they say they asked Brandon Graham the same question. He's like, 2023, this ain't 2023. Get out of here, you know? So Reed Blankenship was asked that same question yesterday, and he just started shaking his head.
This wasn't like last year at all, Brandon Graham. He said that it doesn't feel at all like that. No. You're already shaking your head. Yeah, this is 2024 deal, not 2023. You know, we're way past that. We've matured. We know where we are. This locker room knows where we are. So,
my reaction. Thank you. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing today. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, where yours truly brings you your Phillies and 76ers soon enough post-cast coverage. Also, make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel as well. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Thursday morning. By the way, personal note, how do you handle a back-to-school night? I got my first back-to-school night for Lil Toots for kindergarten, okay? My wife and I are going. Got that going on, then I'm coming home to watch the Phillies. But I don't know how they operate this. I don't know if there's individual meetings with the teacher. I don't know what goes down. Any advice you could give me on a back-to-school night would be very appreciated. April. Hello, April. Good morning. Late game last night was so frustrating, or that game last night was so frustrating. What a wasted outing. His pitching was spot on. It was spot on, and they blow it. IBH, good morning. Hello. April 100. James Alexander, good morning. Farzy. Aaron Nola pitched great last night. They have to be better on go-ahead scores. I agree. April, you notice the dark shirt? I haven't gotten too many comments on the dark shirts lately. Sean Kilrain, hello. Eagles had a 97.6% chance of winning before Saquon's drop. Thanks, Sirianni. Again, here's my thing on it here. Saquon dropped the ball. That's why the play didn't work. I mean, the play worked. The play worked. The execution didn't. That's the one time I might be arguing execution. A lot of times I'll hear coaches come up with a terrible play call, and they'll be like, well, yeah, we didn't execute. Well, that's because your play was terrible. It's hard to execute a terrible play. It's like, I don't know. We called a fake punt 4 times in a row, even on first down, and we didn't execute it. No, you're stupid. That's what happened. Don't go execution. Go that you're a moron. That's what I think to a general coach, okay? In that particular instance, I don't like – the biggest thing I didn't like from Nick Sirianni in this game, for those that didn't hear me say this, the thing I didn't like from Nick Sirianni the most was not kicking the field goal in the first quarter on the second possession. Early in the game, take the points. You don't know how the game is going to go. Your offense could be on fire. You figure that the Falcons aren't going to score that many points. You just put up the points. Take the points. However, in the moment, I knew he wasn't going to. I knew he was going to go for it. So that sucks. But anyway, that's a problem. That's a problem. Then, if I'm mad at anybody for if you do argue, no, with Saquon Barkley, despite 9 guys being in the box, with Saquon Barkley and that offensive line, you just run the ball, you bleed the clock. All right, well, then let's live in the world where you're running against 9 in the box and you get stuffed to the line of scrimmage. Then it's 4th down. Then you let the clock tick down to, about a minute? Then you kick the field goal or you go for it. Falcons have no timeouts. I still have every bit of confidence they're marching downfield. Nothing I haven't seen before, and I've seen it with worse quarterbacks. There was a Bears game. How about this? I forget the quarterback's name. Miller, was it? And I just remember he went 90-plus yards down the field for the game-winning touchdown, turning around, and this is what I'll never forget, turning around Sean Considine in the back of the end zone. Yeah, do you have Sean Considine on your bingo card today? Didn't think so. Anyway. But yeah, Saquon catches the ball. You win the game. Thanks, Kellen Moore. Not. Ooh, I love a not joke. Thank you, Sean Gillespie. You see the bizarre blunder the Seattle Mariners did that the Yankees clinch a playoff spot? Wow. No, all I saw was Dan Wilson say after the game, I think it was the second game in a row, he said, I haven't seen that before. I haven't seen the play yet. JB, what's happening? Need a new quarterback coach. Also, Jalen's bad decisions are the worst possible times and killers. That's true. Morning, y'all. Sorry I've been gone. Yeah, Jason, hey, where you been? Oh, you had a vacation for your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jason. James Alexander, how do you feel about the new arena? Great. Fantastic. So if you didn't see it yesterday, Mayor Parker announced that she's approving the Sixers plans. Okay. My whole thing the entire time has been, generally speaking, I'm going to generalize, then I'm going to focus on Philly. Generally speaking, downtown arenas are awesome. And I have hated for my entire life that Philadelphia did not have, will not have for still quite some time, a downtown arena. Downtown arenas are awesome. Like, if you're telling me traffic is bad, okay. It's a city. Traffic's supposed to be bad. I don't give a damn, because that means there's a lot of people in your city. And when there's a lot of people in your city, a lot of people are spending money in your city. And I want that economic development for Philly. Now, there's arguments to be made about other arenas moving money, or other cities moving money around when they build a new arena. Okay. Some of those cities can be bad examples simply because it's not two teams moving, it's just one. So when one team doesn't play here anymore and then they play over here, then you just move that money here to there. The other thing that I also like about this is that it's two teams. So one team is staying there, another team is over here. And that team that's over here in Center City, it's not just the vendors in the stadium making money. It's every bar in the area within walking distance or an easy subway ride going to that arena, but they can go anywhere. Old City, Center City, they can go throughout the city and they can have a good time and then go to the game, or go to the game and then go out throughout the city and have a good time, as opposed to being down away from the city in the sports complex, which I know does have its perks, and just getting in their car and going home. Instead, they're more likely to go into the city and walk around. And some cities need some revitalization after the pandemic. This will help with that, and then some. I love it. I very much look forward to the day where I can go into the city. I could take in a Sixers game. Then I could go to a restaurant, or I could go to a restaurant before the game, get dinner, go to the game. Maybe people are coming in, more likely to stay downtown. I love it. I think it's great. You can flip traffic patterns to make sure people get out of there as fast as possible. People can take public transit, and this is where I go away from generalizing and just focus on Philadelphia. My thing about the downtown arena is Philly going to be ready for it. Like, again, generally speaking, you're asking me about a downtown arena. Do I love it? Love it. Great idea. Is Philadelphia going to be ready for it? Well, now they got, 7 years to get ready for this? So what's the public transportation going to look like? Oh, and also, what has not played into my decision at all, and to how I feel about it, is the idea of them moving to Jersey. Like, I don't move. You want to move to Jersey? Move to Jersey. That's not playing into my decision on this at all. I'd rather have that here in Philadelphia, but it's right across the bridge. I know that drives people crazy to be like the New York Giants or the New York Jets. But for me, I just don't want to. I didn't want that to happen. So I wasn't even thinking that was ever going to happen. But I knew I didn't want it to happen. But my thing is Philadelphia going to be ready for it? Is Philadelphia going to have the public transit? Is Philadelphia going to have safe public transit? Are those people coming into the city using whatever SEPTA from the suburbs or whatever, are they going to be protected? Are the people around the arena going to be protected? What's the city going to do about that? What is the city going to do specifically about traffic patterns? What is the city going to do about parking? Because one of the things I do love about downtown arenas in other cities is that people always talk about how bad the traffic is. The traffic gets so dispersed because of the parking garages around the city. Like just because you're at 12th and Market, just because you're there doesn't mean that everyone's going to be parking at 12th and Market. No, it gets spread out throughout the city. So you might park, I don't know, blocks away because you're walking to a restaurant and then you're going to the game, or you're going to the game, then you're walking to a restaurant and you're walking on, the rest of the way to your parking garage. Will the city build more parking? Will the city discuss the traffic patterns at greater detail? What are they going to do to protect the people that are going to be on subway from crime? Will there be extra lines added? How does that all work? As far as Chinatown goes, my heart goes out to a lot of people that feel like their tradition and their culture is threatened. And I hope that it thrives, like Mayor Parker said. I hope that they not only survive it, but they thrive through it. I as a city, though, having an opportunity to build an arena in what it was called the fashion district for whatever reason. When I was a kid, it was a gallery. It was that. No one's going there. I'd rather have something that's going to bring more economic development. And also, people going to the stadium, they might want to eat in Chinatown too. This gives Chinatown a great opportunity to show itself off as well. 41 games for the Sixers, playoffs, concerts. I like it. This is in no way on the scale. Well, I won't even go there. But to me, I just think it's too good an opportunity and a no-brainer for the city to do it. But again, the city has to be ready for it. That's my bigger thing on it. So anyway, James, I tell you all that to tell you this. I love it. Thank you. Anyway, the Eagles suck, so that's fun. I think the Phillies will get hot at the right time. I see similarities to 2018. There you go, Jay. I like that. Backcountry Treks. Hello. This team isn't going anywhere with this defense. Thanks, Howie. Yeah, here's my thing on the Howie Roseman thing. Bryce Huff is a bust. Hey, let me look at this real quick. Let me just see something right quick, okay? That's not that team. Yeah. So, looking at this stat sheet, and this is the more in-depth one. Bryce Huff is not on it. Reed Blankenship, 9 tackles. Zach Bond, 7. Nakobe Dean, 5. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, 3. And Bryce Huff's nowhere on here. And all the way at the bottom, Britton Covey. That's fun, isn't it? Isn't that fun to look at? And then when you look at I mentioned this yesterday, but then when you look at the snaps, this is what's so insane. So he played 5% of the snaps more, 5% more snaps, I should say, than he did in week 1, and produced less. Brandon Graham played 46% of the snaps. Bryce Huff played 52% of the snaps. And he got nothing! Jalen Carter played 75% of the snaps. All right, whatever. Those are all numbers. So, whatever. We don't need those. But, yeah, not great. Cody Jefferson, delusional. Why doesn't Hurts throw to Goddard? I don't know. I wish I knew. Quan Pug? I wish I knew. I don't know. That's why we should have moved on from Nick. Terrible feel for the game because he's indecisive. Analytics is not is a tool, not a cheat sheet. Okay, well, that's exactly what he said yesterday. He said that he looks at analytics as a piece, but not the whole thing, which I agree with. That's exactly what it should be, because so much about it is feel. And I know some people roll their eyes at that, but you mean to tell me you felt like Saquon Barkley was going to get the first down? Like, if you went back and watched the All-22, 9 guys are right there at the line of scrimmage. You get stuffed. Okay, let's say you run with Saquon Barkley and you run the clock. Let's say you even get a yard. I don't think you're pushing it 2 yards. So then you're going to run the clock to a field goal, kick off to them, and then you don't get a chance to score at the end. If my thing is, I feel if that plays out, where they run with Saquon, I feel like they don't get the first down. I feel like they get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And really, I mean, both teams were running on the other pretty damn well throughout the game. The Eagles still came up because they knew what was coming. Bijan Robinson was getting the ball. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson sniffed it out. Bang, made the tackle at the line of scrimmage, stuffed them. I feel like the same exact thing was going to happen on that play if they ran with Saquon Barkley. So the only thing you were going to do, in my mind, is bleed the clock more, which I know that's great. And then what, on 4th and 2, 4th and 3 still maybe? You kick the field goal. I kicked the field goal. You bled the clock, right? It's less time for them to score. Or do you try to go for it then and then make them go the length of the field with, again, about a minute left in the game with no timeouts? I still think Kirk Cousins was carving up that defense either way. So, yeah, here's the worst thing analytics ever did. Call itself analytics. Because it's just information. Information about what other teams or what you have done in the past doesn't necessarily dictate exactly what's going to happen in the future. If that was the case, we'd just play this game on the computer. Ken Sod, Hurts sucks. Can't read the defense. Has the most time of any quarterback in the league. Move up in the draft for his replacement. All right. I'm not there. I still really like Jalen Hurts. I just really don't like these decisions. Made by Jalen Hurts. Full responsibility on him. And he took the accountability yesterday, fine. I just, when he's laid out with these options, and I'm sure when he watched the All-22 and he saw Saquon, he saw the All-22 and he saw Britton, I keep doing that, Dylan Covey, he does that and he looks and goes, I could have hit, those are the other options right there instead of throwing that deep ball. Quampu, you win games by scoring points as a coach. In order to win, I'd score points every chance I get, especially if it's 0-0. Yeah, I agree with that. It feels like we'll go 1-3 into the bye week. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Jason. Ooh, here we go. Back to school night. Smile and introduce yourself. Don't ask stupid questions, especially in group settings. So it's just like school, is what you're telling me. T-Bro, what's going on? Back to school night is easy. Go to their classroom and the teacher talks about themselves and then goes over what the students will be doing. Easy. All right, so there's no like one-on-one meeting? Because I remember my back to school nights and my parents would go to back to school nights and I'd like babysitter or whatever, and I'd be sweating it out. I'd be like, oh, good. What are they going to tell them? Those teachers are rats. Those teachers are rats. They're going to rat me out. I know it. And my parents would come home and be like, Mark, so Mrs. Robinson said that you argue a lot in class when she's talking to you. You argue, which I find still to this day hilarious. And I would say, well, if I don't really consider it arguing, but I do find myself having to correct her a lot. That's the problem, Mom and Dad. And that was an instant, see you later, go to your room. That apparently was not the right thing to say as a 8 or 9-year-old kid. And that literally is how it went. It's not so much Mom and Dad and me arguing. It's just that I correct her and she doesn't like it. Go figure. Literally a true story of my childhood. April, school stuff for the grade is pretty easy. For that grade is pretty easy. Meet the teacher, see some artwork. Talk about how awesome your kid is. True story. This just happened. I have to share this story. Driving with the kid in the car yesterday, with my daughter in the car, both kids in the car actually, and my daughter says out of nowhere, we weren't talking about this. We had like Disney favorites on, and out of nowhere, my daughter goes, "I don't like America," and I went, "What the what?" And like my wife, this isn't being discussed in the house. I have no idea where she got that, and I go, and I'm calm because I don't want to scare her away from telling me the truth. And I go, "Sweetheart, what's going on there? Why don't you like them? Like your country, America?" "Yeah." And I'm like, "Huh?" Anyway, after my wife and I did some digging, they were coloring the American flag in class yesterday, and someone told her one of the kids said like, "You're coloring. You could choose any color you wanted," and she took black and she started coloring black. And a kid goes, "You don't like America." It's like, what the hell? These are kindergarten kids. Where the hell's that come from? I know home it comes from home. And then the kid says it to my daughter, and then my daughter repeats it to me, and I'm like, what do we got? We got treason on our hands? What's going on here? The joys of school. Jason A, the mayor approved plans for the new stadium. That's the new arena. That's the way that goes. Clairvoy, hello. Unfortunately, Nick has a bullseye on him leading into the season. No one can answer what he does, let alone well. Team needs leadership. Yep. Babs, hello. I'm awake. Are you? Yes, hello. What's going on? Best quarterback in the game has 3 interceptions. Are you talking about that Patrick Mahomes guy? It's going to be a nightmare. Why Market Street? Here's my prediction on what they do with the traffic. First off, Jefferson Station's right there, so that's great. Second, I wouldn't be shocked if they flipped both lanes of Market Street to head east towards Jersey. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that could be an option. Or what they'll do is 2 lanes eastbound Market Street. Probably just all the lights are green. They flip all the lights green, get that traffic out. I mean, there's options. There's options outside our norm right now. It's weird for sure because we're used to South Philly. Yeah, I agree. But again, for me, and I've been to so many different cities that have the downtown arenas, it's so awesome to be able to walk around the city and then just go to a game and then go walk around the city more and spend that money. Michael Wheeler, doesn't a convincing win against the Saints excuse the loss to the Falcons? I mean, aesthetics are everything. A convincing win. You're saying convincing win. Yeah, I don't see how. Let's live in this world where the Eagles have a convincing win against the Saints. Yeah, I think everybody feels pretty damn good about it. If it's a win that there's still turnovers from Jalen Hurts, then that will still stick in people's minds. But for me, I think it would put a lot more people back on the bandwagon. Curly Green. Jalen Hurts did find on the field D-line ain't-ish okay. All right. Babs, hello. Hi, hon. Philly should rest players here and there now. No injuries for the playoffs. I think that's going to happen soon. I'm really hoping it happens after this Mets series. I hope they take it to the Mets. Good God, I hope they take it to the Mets. Did the rest of the pitching matchups come out for the Phils? Walker, Severino, said, "Oh, Friday's an Apple TV Plus game. Wah, wah." That's a 7:10 start time. Sanchez against Peterson. Suarez against Maia. And then Wheeler against McGill. So they get Sanchez and Wheeler and Walker tonight. And then Suarez 4:10 Saturday. Good God. All right. Hi, Domination Link. Hello. LLC, sorry. Hello. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. And also, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Okay. Phillies tonight, 7:15 start time on Fox, national game. Walker versus Severino. Severino, the last time you saw Severino, Bryce Harper was hitting 2 bombs off him. So that's fun. And hopefully the Phillies will do that again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag, and also the great people at the Game Time app. You want to go to the Game Concert Comedy Show, download the Game Time app, use promo code Farzy for your tickets, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel for yours truly, bringing you your postcasts after each and every Phillies game and soon to be Sixers game. And then also hit like and subscribe on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel as well for all your pre and post game needs. Thanks, everybody. Be back with you guys tomorrow. Wish me luck that I don't argue and back to school night for kindergarten. All right. Thanks, everyone. Back with you guys tonight following the Phillies' victory over the New York Metropolitans. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you tonight and see you tomorrow. Bye.